Okay, I'm going to say some things that are kind of strange, but I think we need to have a conversation about something that maybe I'm insane and delusional, but I think we need to talk about Israel and Netanyahu and what's going on in the war right now in Israel. Yesterday, Netanyahu Bibi unveiled his plan for the Gaza rebuild. He said that there was no plans to give Gaza back to the Gazans. It was an indefinitely going to be Israel, and that they were going to start a re-education, employment, etc. In plain words, it looked to me like he took Oasis 1 protocol, Oasis 1 program, okay? So I want to be very clear, and I want to go on record in front of my audience. We now have close to 40,000 subscribers, that I officially gave the Oasis 1 program to Benny Gantz and gave him full permission to decide how he and the Unity Party was going to implement it. And I did not charge for it, and it wasn't stolen or anything like that. So the first person I gave Oasis 1 program to was John Congress on October 21st, which was a thesis I'd worked on for 2 years on the Gaza-Israel rebuild and securing the border. So my side gig, yes, I am a naturopathic doctor, but I'm also an anthropologist. So it was and I'm a published anthropologist. So I worked on a 2-year thesis, and I got it to John Congress, and then I believe he discussed it with the IDF War Cabinet. It closely resembled the data that Benny Gantz had already collected on his own on the importance of unity and ending war and conflict. Benny Gantz already had this data. I wasn't teaching Benny Gantz anything, and I'm not claiming that. My job was to simply coalesce all the data that had been collected from Saudi Arabia, from Haifa U, the stuff that Benny Gantz already had. My job that I took upon myself independently was to coalesce the data into less than 2 pages, because I couldn't stand what I was watching, and I knew what Benny Gantz was trying to do, and I knew that he was on the right track. So I sent a coalesced of the rebuild in less than 2 pages, which was the Oasis 1 program. And then Elon Musk showed up in Israel a couple of days later and discussed it with Benny Gantz, which caused, I believe, I don't think I'm blocking anything here, that Elon Musk now endorses Benny Gantz and Unity Government and the Oasis 1 program rebuild, which is clearly part of his campaign going forward if he's going to be elected as the new prime minister. And again, I want to go on record saying I endorse Benny Gantz, and I think that's a great idea, which is why I took it upon myself to send copies of the Oasis 1 program to the entire Knesset to protect it and to protect Benny Gantz. And I also want to go on record saying that Benny Gantz didn't put me up to it. I did this independently on my own. Elon Musk didn't put me up to it. Benny Gantz. I was an independent person. I'm a comedian and performance artist. That's true. But I'm also a researcher, a published researcher, and it was 2 years worth of data collected that was debated with a solid debate coach. That's all I'm claiming. The other thing I would say is that the Oasis 1 program said nothing whatsoever about what the IDF War Cabinet should or shouldn't do about Israeli security, because that's not what the purpose of the Oasis 1 program was. The purpose of the Oasis 1 program was, here is what the data shows to diffuse tensions, what we can learn from the Marshall Plan that came out of Europe and Japan, which is why kindness over confrontation, benign dominance theory, and conspicuous acts of kindness, which is why Elon Musk adopted the program. And so what happened, what I believe has happened, okay? And no, I'm not deluded. I sent 120 copies to every single member of the Knesset. I also sent it to every person in Israel who mattered, okay? That's what I did in Israel for 2 weeks. Well, only 10 million of us, okay, folks?
It's a very hard thing to do in this situation is conspicuous acts of kindness to the people in Gaza. Conspicuous acts of kindness to the people in Gaza. It's just that much harder to hate someone if you do nice things for them, even if they try to bite your hand when you do it. Keep doing it. And you look at the Marshall Plan after, look at the difference between World War I and World War II.
I also sent it to I-24 News. Okay. I didn't mean in the middle of all of this to create civil war in the Israeli war cabinet, which is now part of the unity, right? We're trying to stay unified. But that appears to be what has happened. It was already happening, but I seem to have been one of the people that pushed buttons. It's hard for me to say that I'm neutral, but the data, when I collected the data and when I put the thesis together, I had no political party in mind. Do you understand? It's just like Elon Musk says, it's just data. And it may be hard to swallow, but that's the data. And I think Netanyahu feels that he's being pushed out because now everybody, yes, I sent it to the people involved in the Abraham Accords. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to let my baby die. I worked 2 years on it, and I knew I was right. I sent it to the Saudis. I sent it to the UN. I sent it to Haifa U. I sent it to every tech giant in Israel. I sent it to every billionaire I could in the world. Okay, so I sent it to Biden, several members of Congress. Okay, so the point is this. The momentum is with Benny Gantz. Abraham Accords is now moving towards Benny Gantz because Benny Gantz has the golden ticket, not because I did it. I just coalesced data from other people's research, like what the Saudis were doing, right? It was a nice thing for me to do, right? So I'm familiar with how I might have been personally involved slightly in this conflict. But I think it's very clear to me, sitting on the sidelines, that we will see the thing done. You ever see True Grit? We will see the thing done. So you have the Abraham Accords, you have United Arab Emirates, you have the Saudis, you have Bahrain, you have the Americans, you have now the UN, you have the entire Knesset holding coalesced data of 2 pages that shows irrefutably this is how you get to peace, and you've got Netanyahu's plan. So Likud is in trouble. The conservatives are in trouble. And the money is with Benny Gantz and with unity government. And I'm really, look, October 7th is the worst thing that's ever happened in the history of Israel as a state, I think. It's just, I was looking at pictures last night and absorbing more pictures last night. And the fact that there's still people that are hostages, right? So in horrible times, we have to come together, right? As people, right? We have to be the antidote to the cruelty, right? So I'm proud that I could coalesce everything for Mr. Gantz. And because it must have driven him crazy that he had all this data and he just needed somebody to put it in 2 pages. And because he has the facts behind him, I believe he will be our next prime minister. So that's what I need to say. And so I guess I'm saying basically that I have a political agenda, which is that I'm endorsing unity. Okay, there you go. And that I play a tiny. I have nothing to do with this other than the tiniest, the smallest little itsy bitsy. I just coalesced, put it through Grok because I saw what they were trying to do. I'm like, you know what? This should not be difficult. And then I released it. I guess it was my way of helping Benny and the Jets, right? Get to unity and peace. So it really wasn't me. In a way, it was me using remote viewing to go into an altered state and cry out to Hashem, what is the solution? And then collected the data, and I was able to get it in 2 pages with Grok. Thank you to Elon Musk for developing Grok. We got it to 2 pages. So that's why, because I've seen the data, because we put it through multiple computers, because we put it through Grok, that's why I'm 100% convinced that this is where we're headed. And because the momentum is with you. Everybody knows. Now we're releasing. I'm releasing to everyone Oasis, Benny Gantz, vote Benny Gantz, Prime Minister Benny Gantz, unity, unity, unity. So people are excited, unity, unity. People are done with this. And so what Bibi released is like, hey, you guys read his plan? Did you read the unity plan? And then did you read his? It's like watered down psycho version. It's not going to work. Benny's going to win, I'm telling you. All right. I was happy to do it for him. I watched, I listened, I observed him for a while, and not just him, but other data. I was very interested in what was coming out of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabians are doing a lot in terms of deprogramming people from extremism. And United Arab Emirates is doing some cool stuff too. And since those are the people that are doing the rebuild, the concept of an oasis is something that comes from the Bedouin. Might as well just give them back their culture. You know what happened though? We were giving these concepts to Elon Musk, and of course he has to turn it into science fiction. And so I heard him talking about the concept, and he used the term, what we need. This is Elon Musk. What we need pods. We're going to create these pods, like peace pods, then connect the peace pods with it's like, you know what? This is not Search of the Ring or Starship, whatever. I really hope they don't do the whole pod thing. I really hope they stick with the original Oasis concept because it's part of their own heritage. But yeah, Mr. Musk wanted to call them pods. And okay. What are we doing? We did the empath prayer, so we're going to do the community reading. Yeah, when I saw his release of his plan, I'm like, okay, let me see how much of this is based on the data we collected for Unity, because all that data was given to Unity. I've gone on record saying that belongs to Unity, and it's free of charge, and he owns it and can do what he likes with it. And then I made it official by mailing it or getting copies to everyone in the Knesset. Well, you can be sure Bibi's not happy. I was afraid they weren't going to let me in the country, but they did. I even thought, yeah, I guess I do know why. All right, let's do a community reading. Here is your reading for the week. night at the Oasis. The club owners loved it. I sent it to so many Tel Aviv club owners. They're like ready to go now. Yeah. They will do it. They will get their Oasis club, but they have to be very careful of respecting culture too, because different areas of Gaza are probably going to be designated different cultural hubs. Like if you go into the Egypt area, that's more a traditional Bedouin oasis. We're thinking like